Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Today we're going to talk about stop overthinking and start owning the stage. We're going to talk about how you actually can present yourself like a true rock star. And it's not as difficult as you think, but it's not as easy either. So, welcome to the Be the CEO of Your live show with me, Yvonne Dam of Amaze Yourself. Here we make business growth easier. I share strategies and insights to help you increase your revenue, get more clients, and set your operations up to scale. Plus, you hear from industry experts, and today we've got a gem who review how they scale their business and what they do to help their clients scale their business as well. So get ready to work smart, earn more, and live better. Tune in, get inspired, and take your business to the next level. I'm very excited. G, please introduce yourself to everybody who's watching.
Thank you, Yvonne. Thanks for having me. So my name is Gregory. Everyone calls me G. I was a tour manager and live sound engineer for over 25 years on the road. We traveled all over the planet, 35 plus countries, performing over 5,000 shows with everyone across the board, from Aretha Franklin to touring with Coldplay to Jonas Brothers, you name it. And I am a Rockstar speakers coach. What I do now is I show coaches and visionaries and thought leaders how to use the exact same techniques that your favorite rock stars and pop stars use when they're performing on stage, how you can use these every time you go on camera, every time you go on a podcast, or every time you go on a stage. So thanks for having me.
I love that. And talk to me. It sounds really glamorous. You traveling the world and you working with pop stars. Is it truly glamorous, or how is it?
Touring was like a corporate job, but our office moved every day.
Right.
My job was mainly logistics. So it was, hotels, travel, interviews, making sure they have their green M&Ms or whatever. But a lot of it was also being like a therapist, because I don't think many people realize this. Your favorite rock stars and pop stars off stage are actually very quiet, even a little bit insecure. And when you're in that inner circle with them, you don't they are a client, they're paying me, right? But you don't look at them as this rock star on stage. They're just this normal person. And they would come off the stage and go, "How was the show, G?" And I go, "Nice one, nice one." That's why I say nice one. And they'd be like, "Okay, well, I liked it. Did you like it?" "Yeah, it was good. We switched that song. I thought it was great." Like, it was more psychology than anything. Glorified band babysitter, I guess is what it was. I don't know,
But that's fascinating because, first of all, I think a lot of people don't realize that a lot of pop stars are actually quite shy and introverted. But also that they fill stadiums, right? Yet they do something that draws people in.
Yes.
And that's exactly what you're teaching people right now. So talk to me, tell me a story about someone that you helped and that was like incredibly to watch.
So I think the reason that their music, their songs connect with the audience so much is because they're very personal to them. Remember, when they're writing these songs, they're not playing in front of a stadium. They're sitting in a studio, sitting in front of a piano or a guitar, or sometimes on the back of a tour bus. And they're just going, what do you think of this? And they write songs that are very personal to them. So when they're on stage and they're able to communicate that with the audience, it becomes very personal to the audience, because they follow one simple rule when it comes to performing, and that's perform to 10 like it's 10,000, and perform to 10,000 like it's 10. So I was with an artist. He was starting out, just got signed, was just doing the promo tour and everything. And we were playing a small city on a Monday night. There was 10 people in the crowd. And this is back in the day when we were doing van and trailer. So we had to drive ourselves before buses and jets and all that. So, and we had a 500-mile drive, which is like a good 10-hour drive ahead of us. And he's like, "Look, G, just give the 10 people their money back. Let's just get on the road. We'll get to the next city. It's okay. I'm not looking to make money tonight, merch and that. Just pack it up. Let's go." And I said, "No, your job as the rock star is to go out and present to 10 people like it's 10,000. And your job is to go out there and put on the best effing show you've ever put on in your life. And that's what he did. He went out and he was like, and I said, this is not rehearsal either. Don't look at this as like a rehearsal and just, I mean, I want you to perform like this is Lollapalooza. That's your job. Well, by the end of the show, our crowd doubled to 20 people. And at the end of the night, this guy came up to me and he goes, hey, I'm a journalist and I like to interview the artists and everything. And I'm like, okay, here's my card. I'll pass it to the publicist. And I'm like, who do you write for? And he goes, I write for Rolling Stone.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, really? What are you doing at this show? He goes, I purposely travel the country and bands that I believe in, I go and see them perform in a small venue. I don't go to the sold out shows and the stadiums and all that. I want to discover the talent. And I'll tell you, this guy you got right here, he is awesome. He put on the best show. I thought I was in an arena, and this is like a small club with 20 people. So long story short, I won't mention the artist because of NDAs and stuff, but it led to being featured in Rolling Stone. It led to more gigs. And eventually it was, you know, they're playing in front of 10,000 people. And he came back to me and said, so now what do? I got 10,000. I said, you perform like it's 10. Remember that show with 10 people? You go out there and put on the same energy and connect with every one of those 10 people. So the lesson here is you never know who's listening when you're doing a show or you're doing a video. And two is if you go out there and present that you're just talking to that one person, you're performing to a group of 10 people, 10 of your best clients, you will connect with 1,000 and 10,000 and even whatever number the audience reaches.
I love that. That's an amazing story. And I love that he listened to you as well. I mean, you know, well, but it's so true also for business owners. Very often, you know, as a business coach, people want to start webinars or they want to hold challenges, and then they just begin. So not a lot of people sign up, and they go like, yeah, you know, should I cancel it? Do I go on? What do I do? And I always say everybody starts small, but and sometimes it's even they have 100 people and they say, oh, they have 100. And I say, well, if the 100 would be in your living room right now,
right?
You know, how would that feel? How would you act? What would you say? And I love that you have this great example where some, you know, the Rolling Stone was there and really helping him. But I also actually love the fact that the journalist came specifically to look at the smaller gigs. Because if someone is so blasé and doesn't want to really make it in a small gig, basically they're not worth it to make it in a big gig either, are they?
Exactly. It's the same thing when you as an entrepreneur go on video. If you go on video with that same energy that you're presenting to 10,000 of your biggest fans, then you're going to present different on video than, oh, well, one person liked it. See, what I saw in the music business is likes and follows and downloads and everything can be bought. So the artists are never performing to the downloads or the likes or the follows. They're performing to that one person. And it's connecting with that one person. And because their message is so personal to them, it connects with the 10,000, 100,000, and then you see them selling out stadiums. But it all starts with that one person and that one show. And I'll add this too, Yvonne, that if they just did one show a month, they never would have gotten as good as they were on stage when they, you know, when Rolling Stone was there, and they never would have played the festivals. True. So it's repetition.
Yes, that is very true. Yes.
Every day. Yeah.
And how does that translate to business owners and the coaches and the innovators that you're coaching now? What do they need to take away from this?
We need to stop chasing the brass ring on the carousel, the algorithm. Okay, well, if I do this for 30 days, then I'll get this many followers. If I do this, and okay, everybody, video is hot this month. Everybody go on video. Carousels are hot this month. You know, now we're doing questionnaires. There's not one answer. It's not you do a video and then it changes. It's I find, and with my coaching, video is the most powerful way to connect with your audience, period. It just is. You cannot compare anything else to going on video. And going on video nervous and going on video with a script and stumbling over your words and all that stuff, so what? So what? You know, I talk about, I'm not anti, here, I'll just say this, and it is a little controversial. I am not anti TED Talk, okay, or TEDx. I respect that. I respect it. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it. But in the big picture, it is one show.
Yes.
It is one show. It's a very powerful show. It sets the platform. To me, that's like playing Lollapalooza. Having a band go on at 2:00 in the afternoon in front of 30,000 people is going to be a lot better than going into a club playing in front of 20 people.
Yeah.
So yes, but the more that you're on camera, the more that you're just talking to your audience, connecting with your audience, then you can promote that one show, and that can become another show and another show. And so I look at every time you go on camera, you go on a podcast, or you go on stage, that's a show. And not one show is more important than the other. Just this is how the rock stars and pop stars really feel. They say, the audience, you're the best, man. You guys in London, you're the best crowd. You guys in Prague, you're the best crowd. You know, Madrid, you guys are the best. They say that, but they perform at the same level for every audience, regardless of where they are. And that's what it means to present at the Rockstar frequency.
I love that. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's and I had to smile when you said you're the best crowd, because I'm from the Netherlands and we always heard, the Dutch people are truly,
the Dutch are the best. I've been everywhere and I have to agree, the Dutch are the best audiences. They are, really.
Well, it's that's, I must say, that's one of the downsides for me from moving around. I think I grew up with so much music, because there is always, people always attended, and I always went, and I love live music. And then next we moved to South Africa and to Durban. And a lot of artists don't go to South Africa because for safety reasons. And then Durban is like a coastal town, so people don't go there, and they only book last minute. And a lot of artists don't want that. And I just miss the music so much. We moved to London, and I was like, okay, now we're, it's happening. And then in London, everybody goes, so there are no tickets to buy. So anyway, it's lovely when it's at your doorstep and you can go all the time. So I love that, and I miss that about moving around. But there are benefits, like the weather is way better. Anyway, it's a total side note. But I love that you say, in principle, you have to perform as an artist, doing it as if you're, really speaking to a big crowd, but connecting on a personal note.
Intimate, one-on-one.
Does that also then matter? Because you said something in the beginning that caught me. Like, artists write the lyrics, and it's personal, right? And it's well, listen to the lyrics itself, and you hear the personal notes. Do you then also say that as business owners, we need to get personal as well? Or how does that translate to us?
At some point in their career, whether they were rehearsing in their bedroom or a garage, they decided that I am an artist. I'm a songwriter. I'm a storyteller. And once they make that decision, they don't look back. Right. They don't focus on how many records they sold or downloads they have. They don't focus on how big the crowd is. They don't focus on, is this song good enough? In fact, most of the biggest hits on the planet, if you look at the behind the scenes story, it's like, I just sat down in front of the piano for 20 minutes. The label said I need another song, and it just poured out of me. So I think the very first thing entrepreneurs need to do is decide that whatever it is you do, that's what you do, period.
Yes.
Whether you have any followers, listeners, downloads, doesn't matter. This is what you're doing. And then get to the root of why you do what you do, and go on video and share that. Talk about what it was like working in the corporate world for 25 years, facing that fork in the road and having to decide. If you just signed a brand new client, talk about the excitement of working with that new client. You work with a client and you just had this amazing breakthrough, without NDA, of course, but without details. But talk about how you love that light bulb moment that goes off whenever you're in the middle of a coaching session. And ditch a script. Ditch the perfection, ditch the carousel, the algorithm. Just go on video and be who you are, because there are people out there that will connect with you. The more personal your story is, the more they're going to connect with you in the same way you connect with Chris Martin in a stadium or Adele in a stadium. They're just personal songs, something to them. They're stories of their life. And video gives you, as the entrepreneur, the stage, because it is a stage, to present your life to your fans.
Yeah, I love that. And
Yeah.
I love that you say, share what you're feeling, because so
Mm-hmm.
often we don't share that. We just talk about almost the mechanics and the technical side and the
Yes.
aspect. But if you talk about feelings, and if you then compare it to songs, it's
Mm-hmm.
all about feeling and what happened and how that made you feel. And you can hear it in the music as well. Sometimes it's really angry, sometimes it's really mellow. So I love that you really highlight that feeling component. And I was thinking about it, what you said as well with the start, decide this is what you do. I
Yes.
so often have clients coming to me and they say, somehow this is what I do. I sell these services, but I can't sell it. I can't get it sold. And then I ask them, but how much in love are you with what you're selling? And then they go, oh, well, yeah, I like it. But I'm like, no, no, no. How much in love are you with it? Is it 3,000%? Is it when I wake you up and I ask you what it is you do, you go like, wow, the whole world needs to know it because what I do is so freaking amazing that everybody needs to get it.
Yep.
And then very often they go like, no, I don't have that. And then, well, then you wonder why you're not selling it. So it's like you said, decide that this is what you do. And then for me, it's very important to really show how you feel about it. And that's again, the feelings in there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I love that aspect. And the other thing that you said is also something I speak about with my clients a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I hear them, I don't know what to say on social media. I
Oh.
don't know. And I just say, well, whenever you come out of a session or whenever you've done something, and this is not my idea, I must say it's Jerry V's idea. Just literally pick up your phone,
Yes.
record a video by just what happened. And,
Yes.
and that feeling element that you're talking about, but or put it in, I know, but put it in writing. But really, it's you have the experience. You don't have to overthink it.
Right.
It's already there. And the more you talk about it, the more people can follow how it is to work with you and what they like. And because you can also talk about the results you're getting your clients, because
Yes.
obviously that excites you as well. So that's the whole picture. So I really love what you say. So tell me a story about where it didn't go well. You know?
More NDAs. This is I won't give out too many details because people could figure out by looking at my LinkedIn. I was with an artist, a younger artist, starting out. We're doing radio promo, and I mentioned to him, we're going out with this. We're going out with the record label tonight. We're going out with radio station people, and a number one rule when you're outside of the immediate circle, you're outside of your hotel room or the bus or talking to your manager or record label, is there's no such thing as off the record.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a bit too much to drink. I don't drink at all. I'm seeing everything that happens. And he just started blurting out some things that he signed an NDA for with a television production company that he was working with. And yada, yada, yada. Long story short, these guys then go on the morning show and say, hey, we were hanging out with doing the Rockstar thing, and all this. And it was, you couldn't put the genie back in the bottle. So it was like, I teach this with my clients. Like when you present, you're at the Rockstar frequency. And even when you're around crowds, you're at sea level, you're at crowd level. So when you're talking to your clients or prospective clients, you're on social media, you're on all this. It's not that you got to keep a wall up around you, but you do have to remember that this is the power of going on video. Some people think just go on video and say anything you want to say. You got to understand that that's going to be around for a while. And nowadays with AI and taking people's videos and stuff, you know what I mean? Like, he forgot the golden rule. When you're outside of the bus, the hotel, the jet, whatever it is, your secure area, you are still on. You are on as a pop star. There is no off. You go off when you go back to the hotel, or you're in the bus with other people, or backstage. Even backstage, you're not off, And so I think to relate that to entrepreneurs is, yes, going on video and talking about what you want, but also remember, put it this way. If you went on video and you were talking to a group of 1,000 people in a room like a TED Talk or a convention, would you say it to them? And if the answer is yes, then put it on video. And if the answer is no, then don't.
Yeah.
That was kind of the rule of thumb. We said, would you want to see this in Rolling Stone or this video on MTV, which is now TMZ? Would you want to see this video on TMZ and still be okay with it or not? And if the answer is no, then don't.
Yeah.
And I hate to go negative, but that's something to really be, aware of.
Yes.
There is no off the clock when you're do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I hope I wasn't too hard.
I totally hear you. And I think it comes down to your personal brand, right?
Yes.
Because there are some people that want to be controversial and they want to have screaming headlines, this is what I said, because they like that attention, which can be a choice. But the majority of the entrepreneurs I know actually don't want that at all. They might say something that, could be a bit edgy, but they don't want to be quoted on something that really, if they would be on the front page, that they don't like. So that's always something I say. Either is it headline proof or is it Disney proof? It's depending on whatever you feel like. And it's interesting that a lot of people don't think about it, but it's important. Like you say, these days, once it's out there, People can dig it up, and you're surprised. So yeah, I totally hear you. So if I have more questions, but before I forget, if people want to get in touch with you, where do they reach out? Or
right here on LinkedIn. This is how we connected. I love LinkedIn. I want to add something to your comment. Yes. But then you have people like Gary Vee.
Yes.
Which I don't think he uses a script, and I think he just says, when someone asks him a question, I think he says what he's thinking. But you got to remember, this guy has been presenting for many, many, many years. And it gets to a point where, so it's a balance. It's a balance. You don't want to go on with LinkedIn face or LinkedIn like, hello, I'm on LinkedIn today. Okay, today we're going to talk about this. And you also don't want to go on like, hey, I have the worst client in the world. I can't believe I signed this person, work with it. It's a balance.
Yes.
But if you want to look at somebody, I love Gary Vee because he says whatever he feels and you feel it. And if you don't agree with it, that's okay. And that's another important thing about when you're on video is you're not out there to appeal or appease everybody. In fact, the more that you divide, without being controversial, of course, and really laser beam into that one person who goes, wow, how does she know me so well?
Yes.
That's incredible. So I just wanted to add that about Gary Vee, because I think, he's awesome.
But what you say is also something that I feel that a lot of people struggle with. Can I be there for that one person? Can I be really there for my niche? And I think that a lot of the content, whether it's video or something else, but a lot of what is created by entrepreneurs falls flat because it's meaningless. It could apply to everyone. And because it could apply to everyone, it applies to no one. It doesn't speak to anyone. And basically, in my experience, and I want to hear your thoughts on this as well, is when people feel it is controversial, right? When they go like, oh my God, I don't know whether I can say that because it's a bit controversial. I actually don't think it's controversial at all. I think it's just an opinion that sometimes goes against the consensus, but very often it's time that someone said what a lot of people are thinking. So I feel, yes, controversial, but for me, it has to be truly like shocking to be controversial. And very often it's just a strong opinion that people may like, which is great because those are your people, and people may hate, which is also great because you can't serve everyone.
Right.
So what are your thoughts around that?
So when I say you go on video and you talk to one person, a lot of people take that literally, like, oh, I just have to find, or you're on stage in front of 10,000 people, talk to one person. I have to find that one person in the first row or the eighth row or
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's not literal. It's mindset. The
Yes.
one person that I believe you're talking to when you go on camera is your subconscious.
Ooh, I love that.
And it's when you connect with your subconscious, that's when you connect with their subconscious. And they will never remember what you say word for word. So stop worrying about what you say word for word. They're never going to remember how many times you paused or use I mean, if you do after every word, maybe. But even then, when you're connecting with them at such a level, it feels like you're inside their head. And that's what, so back to the controversial thing. If it's how you feel and it's not going to hurt anybody and it's not breaking an NDA or, calling, putting somebody down to where, like, if you wouldn't say it to their face, then don't say it on video, obviously. But when you connect with the audience at that subconscious level, then that's what they feel. That's what they remember. I equate it to music. There's always a song playing when I'm talking. Even now, it's like, We Will Rock You, Queen is just in the background. What is a song that you want your audience to hear or feel when you talk that just gives them? Is it encouragement like Adele? Is it, really like energetic like Taylor? Or is it something that really makes them think like Queen? Like you're saying one thing, but what you're saying is really something different, and they can connect the dots, and
I love that. That's also
yeah,
a great analogy. What is the song that you're performing while you speak to your audience? Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
would like that a lot. Yeah. So you do things a bit differently than
Hmm.
most public speaking coaches,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes.
Tell me the differences.
I don't believe in a script. I don't believe in. I do have a framework. I know we're using that word. I do
Yes.
have a framework, a system, a
Hmm.
set list system,
Yeah.
but it's not okay. Plug this word in and do this. And I don't believe in take after take after take. I
Hmm.
believe in rehearsing, recording yourself, and getting it. But I like in the moment, and that's what I coach is in the moment. It appears like on camera that you just started talking on camera, but the reality is there's a lot of techniques you're using, vocal techniques, tempo, timing, all these different things that your favorite rock stars are using. But when you're talking on camera, the audience doesn't feel that. They just feel like, wow, she gets me.
Yeah.
So that's the type of, yeah, I'm not a TEDx coach. I mean, I'm not against it, but I'm not going to teach somebody how to use a script or memorize a script. I'm going to be like, let's find 3 stories that really light you up. Let's put that into a set list, and then I'll show you the song structure, the same way your hit songs are written, verse 1, verse 2, chorus, bridge, all that. How you can take that story, plug it in here. That's a great verse 1. This is a great verse 3. Here's the bridge. It's going to draw them in. And everything I do is music. It's all music based, and I tell a lot of road stories to my clients too. Nothing, no breaking NDAs, but I give them examples of like, yeah, that you're there, you're
Yeah.
right there.
I love that. So it's rehearsing, but basically going live on stage without retakes, right?
Right,
And
right.
that's actually something I know a lot of people need to hear, because too often I hear, "Oh my God, I did 3 or 20 takes and then the video was there," and I go,
Yeah,
"That's such a waste of your time." But I hear you. So don't practice, but don't over practice and just go as is. You're not against or basically being a human, as I can
right,
say it like that,
right.
and you're not a big fan of scripts.
I mean, you could take a script, but if you read a script word for word, your voice changes, your tempo
Yes.
changes, the dynamics change. And if you're memorizing lines and looking up and down and like, okay, what did I forget? But when you're just sharing a story that you've rehearsed, that you put together, but when you're sharing a story, you don't know how it's going to present. You just know the feeling that you have, like that Rolling Stone story, you
Mm,
know? I'm not worried about what detail did I mention or not mention. It's the feeling. the feeling that those guys played in front of 10,000 people. They had that feeling before we even knew about the journalists. They came backstage and that was the best show we've ever put on. I'm like, because that's your job. Do that every night. That's what you do. You go out on stage and you perform like that every night, regardless of the crowd, and you will be playing the festivals. I guarantee it. You will be. But the moment you go out and go, well, this crowd isn't that big. I'm kind of tired. This show, well, you know what? We got a long drive. I got an early TV tomorrow. I don't want to blow my voice out or whatever. And they drop down and give a half-assed show. The audience feels that too. So when I say rockstar frequency, it's not you have to go on camera like 100%. It's just when you're confident about what you're talking about, you have a crystal clear message, and you're connecting with your audience. That's what it means to present at the rockstar frequency. That's what I offer with my coaching.
Yeah, so it comes down to a lot of confidence as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even while you're saying that some of your rock stars weren't always that confident off stage.
Yes.
So it's definitely something you can learn.
Yes. They flip a switch. They flip a switch when they go into backstage mode. Whatever's going on in their personal life, whatever's going on with the record label, whatever bad review they saw or bad comment on, Instagram, some fan says you guys are, posers or whatever.
Yes.
They throw all that away. They focus on the job at hand, which is to go out and put on the best show they can, to have fun, and to connect. And I'll add this to it. It is not your job when you go on video for the fans to like you. Just the same way your favorite rock stars. I have this thing I said to my partner Sandy at lunch one time. Mick Jagger does not require your validation. So when you go on camera, if you're connecting with, you're talking, connecting what's personal to you. If people don't get it, that's on them. 100% on them. It's not on you. So when you take that pressure away, you don't have to worry about it being perfect. You don't have to worry about it making sense. If it makes sense to you and you're excited, you just had this great call with a client and like, oh my God, we've been working together for 6 months. 6 months. We started here and now we're here and we're doing this. And if you're feeling that way, then join me. Let's go on this journey together. I'm here for you. And it means that it's not a script. It's not chat written out. It's a passion. They will feel that through the phone and go, oh my God, she's talking to me. How does she know me so well?
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. But I also love that you're saying it's not about validation.
Yes.
Validation is an internal job.
Yes.
Not an external one.
Yes.
And Mick Jagger, I think, is a great example because I don't think he goes out there thinking, "Oh my God, do they like my hair or my moves or how I sing?" Right? I don't think that's not the impression you get when you see him.
Right.
So it's yeah, I love that. Be like Jagger and just have the confidence and the enthusiasm and the feeling. It's almost, when you think about it, what I see is that a lot of business owners, entrepreneurs are very often kind of like still hiding, still like have that almost that wall up or that like shame around it. They are selling themselves, but who am I to shout this from the top of my lungs?
Right.
And I think they need you clearly, but they need to remember they are that inner rock star that doesn't give a hoot because they have something to share. And that needs to really, build within and then come out.
I posted this on IG on my stories yesterday. Rick Rubin, who is one of my heroes. He's a producer that's produced everybody from Jay-Z to Run DMC, Beastie Boys, Aerosmith, Adele, you name it. He's worked with everybody. This guy has long hair. He doesn't wear shoes, and he is a 100% spiritual. And he says, and I just love his interviews. I post them all the time on IG. He goes, I don't write. They asked him in an interview, when you're writing a song, or producing, because he's not even like writing songs, he's producing, right? When you produce, are you thinking about the fans and if it's going to be a hit? And he said, crystal clear. I don't even think about the fans when I'm working. If it is personal to me and I like it, and the artist, the client that I'm working with, they like it, then we create it. And if it's not, then we don't. And it's that simple. If the fans like it or not, that's on them. It has nothing to do with me. And I think if entrepreneurs take that approach is, okay, yeah, the first couple times on video, do I really sound like that? Yes, you do. Do I really look like that? Yes, you do. That's okay. We all have insecurity. Everybody has an insecurity when they come off stage. Robert De Niro, one of the best actors on the planet, says he doesn't watch his movies because he can't stand to see himself on film. He's one of the best. I mean, I could quote every one of his movies. So being insecure or having that insecure is not the right word, but just having that lack of confidence off camera, that's normal. Everybody has it. But when you flip on that switch and you get to the root of why you started your coaching business, why you're a financial advisor, why you help people with promoting their podcast, whatever it is, and you talk with your hands, however you talk, and you talk with energy and excitement, they're going to feel it. And they're going to go, wow, that's who I need to work with, because everyone else is following this carousel, worrying about the algorithm, trying to say the right keyword. And that's what I love about Gary Vee. He just goes on camera and asks him a question. He tells you exactly how he feels. And that's why he is where he is because you could compare him to a lot of other speakers, but there's only one Gary Vee. There's only one G Money, hopefully, right? So it's the only one Yvonne, right? It's like you get the feeling.
Yeah, I totally hear you. So you have your own business, right? You are coaching coaches. Tell us a bit about what is your strategy that you use to grow your business.
My strategy is getting in front of people, as many people as possible, but doing it strategically. With LinkedIn, I wanted to grow my LinkedIn. I started out for a long time on my LinkedIn, I had a professional cat herder because I never put the artists up there. I didn't want anyone knowing and getting tickets and all that. Right. So I started with my LinkedIn at only 750. I think I went to 3,500 today, but that was over a year ago of just my strategy was, one, I want to connect with the right people, and I don't need a large audience. I want a small audience, right? So I created my show Behind the Mic Live where I interview guests. So rather than me just DMing people, hey, how you doing? Tell me more about yourself and stuff, I would bring them on as a guest on a show. I recommend everybody, if you don't want to be a podcast host, you become a podcast guest.
Yes.
Get your message in front of more people, right? I was just saying this on my show earlier today. Let the host do the heavy lifting, but then you become a professional guest. The more people that you talk to in a one-on-one situation, and they get to know you and see what makes you unique. And then from there, the strategy is, okay, I invite people, only the people that I want, into my circle. And then I would rather present to 50 people that are listening to every word than 50,000 that don't care. And that's my strategy.
Yeah.
That's how I run my LinkedIn.
So it's really quality over quantity.
Absolutely.
I hear you. And speaking to them one-on-one as if
one-on-one. My subconscious to their subconscious. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And what you're saying about, if you don't have a podcast or a show or what have you, to become a guest, I think that's a great tip and a great advice. What I found is that also when you do that, your message gets more clear.
Yes.
Because that's often I feel where it goes wrong, as far as it goes wrong. But every person I meet, they have been thinking about their message or what it is that they offer, and they've almost that a lot of them have this creativity that they want to share with people, but they forget to talk to the people. Right. So they create something which in itself is very often amazing, but then they haven't spoken to the ideal clients, or they haven't done any market research, and they go sell, and then it doesn't sell because they don't use their creativity to talk about it or to sell it or to promote it, and it falls flat, and then they go like, oh, it didn't work, so let me think about something else. No.
Yes.
I'm very firm believer, if you have something and you believe in it, then comes the actual work, and preferably you've done the conversations up front. But what I find is when you have it and you go speak to, podcast hosts, it's more and more clear every time you go live, because they ask you the questions that they know their listeners want to hear, which could be your potential clients. And because they ask the questions, you have to become more clear. And when their follow-up question and you go like, cringe, that's not what I meant, then you will start to change your messaging as well, until you have such a refined message that you feel, oh my word, now you can wake me up, because this is totally what I'm here for. So yeah, I love that you say go on podcasts. There are so many out there. There's so many possibilities, and it's so helpful. Yeah.
And I equate every time you go on video, that's a show. Every time you go on a podcast, that's a show. Every time you go on stage, that's a show. So if you decide, okay, you're right, that I should be a guest on podcasts. Well, reaching out to people and going, hey, I'd like to be a guest on your show. That's equivalent of an artist sending demos back in the day to a record label. You know how artists got signed back in the day? They played sold out shows, small clubs. They built the fan base. So you do that by presenting on video. And then at the end of your video, you go, and if you have a podcast and you'd love to have me as a guest, DM me. I'd love to be on your show. You're going to attract more people to you by you just being who you are on video than you ever will with sending out 100 DMs or 100 emails to the top. And here's another thing too. I know we're running on time. Everybody wants to be on the top podcast. Everybody wants to be on the one, and they don't realize that when you get into that world, you are literally, no offense to people, but you're literally a number. Yes. And you've got to have the numbers to get there. Yes. Going on a podcast like today, this is a conversation between me and you. That's it. And people get to watch it. That's how you have to look at when you go on a show. So finding someone who's just starting a show and you're like, hey, I just launched my podcast. I'd love to be a guest on your show. But you can say that and they could be like, oh yeah, I'd love to have you. They're going to look at your LinkedIn. They're going to look at social media. And if they don't know who you are, they don't see the energy, they don't see what you do, they're going to be like, okay, yeah, well, because the cream of the crop stands out. Yes. Those rock stars know they're rock stars 10 years before they ever have a hit. Yeah. And they believe every day that they're just getting one step closer. So if you're going to be a guest on a show, the very first thing you should do is get on video. And I don't mean just do a video to, hey, G said or Vaughn said do a video. I mean, really put it in as like, this is a show. This is your chance. Yes. This is your calling card. Yeah. Because the podcast hosts and producers are going to see that video. And it's connecting with them on that video that they go, wow, I'd love to have her on the show. Yeah. She would be a great guest on my show. So you got to kind of, instead of going the front door like HR, looking for jobs, you got to kick down the back door and kind of be like, okay, here I am. I'm ready to go. Now let's work together. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. And we really need to wrap it up, but there's one thing you said that I thought, oh, wow, that's so true. You also just have to start. Yes. I still remember when I started my entrepreneurial journey, I had a coach who told me, if you're not on video, you're dead. So I was like, okay, I'm just starting. So I went on video. I hated it. Honestly, I hated it. I bought the biggest, anti-wrinkle cream I could buy. Oh, no.
I did. I was like, oh my God, I don't. And quite frankly, I was bad because I was really slow and I was really, but the thing is, because I started and I never gave up, because that sentence, no video means you're dead, I just did it. And when you do it more and more and more, it gets easier and you become a natural, as if we're talking. You could sit here, I'm sitting on like a kitchen table. You could sit here opposite of me and we would have the same conversation, right? Exactly.
Exactly.
It's the feeling you want. So if you have any doubts, don't doubt. Just start now, because
Yes.
we're gonna really benefit from it. Okay, before we wrap it up, is there
Yes.
any final, words, wisdom, inspiration you want to share with us?
Everybody on social media is presenting their highlights. They're always presenting the best. So if you are on video and you don't have to get too personal, obviously, in NDAs or personal stuff going on, but you're just real. You're real. What you say is real and emotional and it connects with them. It's going to stand out over all these highlight reels of I just had the best month. I just had the best quarter. That's great. Talk about it. And the pain points that you have with your clients that you're working with, there, if one person is dealing with that, there are literally millions of people out there on this planet dealing with it. And all you need to do is focus on that one person, connect with those 10 people when you're on camera, because chances are they'll be dealing with that same pain point.
I love that.
And do it. Just do it. Just
Do
get
it.
on camera. Yeah. There you go.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank
True.
you, Yvonne.
And if you were watching, thank you for joining the Be the CEO of Your Life show. We specialize in helping agency owners grow their business, get more clients. So if you're ready to level up, contact us and we will be happy to help you.